Okay, let's just jump right into it. We're living in 2026, and if you're out there trying to sell your knowledge online, you've probably noticed something kind of weird. It has never, ever been easier to get your ideas out there. But at the same time, the gap between the people making a killing and everyone else who's just struggling to get by, well, it's a canyon. So what's the secret? I'll tell you what, it's probably the exact opposite of everything you've been taught. I want to kick things off with this question because it gets right to the heart of the matter. So many of us, myself included, have heard this advice. Hey, just start small, create a cheap little product to get some customers in the door. But what if that advice, that first step you take, is actually a trap? What if it's designed to make you fail before you even get started? Today, we are going to break down a concept I call the €7 trap. You've seen it everywhere. It's the go-to strategy for basically every beginner out there. But the hard truth is, it's a strategy that pretty much guarantees you're going to run out of cash, and maybe more importantly, run out of steam, long before you see any real success. So what is it really? Well, at its core, the €7 trap is this belief that a cheap offer is the smartest way to start. You know the deal. You sell something for $7, maybe 17, maybe even 27 if you're feeling bold. The idea is you build an email list, you get a few sales, and then, down the line, you'll sell them your real expensive stuff. It sounds so logical on paper, right? But as you're about to see, both the math and the psychology behind it are just completely broken in today's world. So let's break down the math, because this right here is where the whole idea of the low-ticket offer just completely falls apart. So here we go. Here's your product. You've priced it at a super tempting €7. I mean, for a potential customer, that feels like a total no-brainer. An easy impulse buy. What could go wrong? Well, here's the reality check for 2026. Attention is the most expensive thing on the planet. Whether you're paying for ads or you're spending dozens of hours creating content, getting a customer to actually stop scrolling and pull out their credit card costs you money. Let's just say, and this is being conservative, it costs you €15 to get that one single sale. You see the problem, don't you? For every single €7 product you sell, you're actually losing €8. You're going into debt. Now, the theory is, oh, I'll just make it back later with my more expensive products. But here's the thing they don't tell you. The type of customer you attract with a €7 price tag is a fundamentally different person. And this is where the trap really snaps shut. It all comes down to psychology. See, a low price attracts a bargain hunter, not someone who's actually committed to getting a result. They have zero skin in the game, so they probably won't even open the thing they just bought. And because they don't use it, what happens? They get no results. And because they get no results, they'll never trust you enough to buy your real expensive offer. You've just created a perfect cycle of failure. On the other hand, a high-ticket client, they are invested. That high price tag forces them to be committed, which leads to them getting real results, which turns them into a raving fan who tells everyone about you. See the difference? So, okay, if the math is so clearly broken and it attracts the wrong kind of people, why do so many of us fall into this trap? Well, it all boils down to a massive misunderstanding of what value even is. Let's be totally honest for a second. Why are you afraid to charge more? For most of us, it's that little voice in our head, imposter syndrome. We feel like we haven't put in enough hours, or that our course isn't long enough, or doesn't have enough modules. We think value is about quantity, about how much stuff we can pack in, but it's not. True value has absolutely nothing to do with how many videos are in your course. The real value is the size of the problem you solve for someone. It's the bridge you build between your client's current painful situation, let's call that point A, and their desired result, point B. I mean, think about it. If your knowledge saves a business €10,000, it's worth thousands of euros, whether you deliver that advice in an hour or in a year. In fact, a high price is actually a teaching tool. It forces the client to take your solution seriously and actually do the work. So your price isn't for the bridge itself, the videos, the PDFs. It's for the guaranteed passage to the other side. The bigger the pain at point A, and the more life-changing the result at point B, the more your solution is worth, period. Okay, so how do we actually escape this trap? We have to stop thinking like we're selling a commodity, like a bag of rice, and start acting like a luxury brand. And no, you don't need a fancy logo or 20 years of experience. You just need one thing. The key, the absolute secret sauce, is extreme specialization. Luxury is never, ever generic. It's specific. It's rare. It solves a very particular problem for a very particular kind of person. Here's the best way to think about this. A general family doctor, they do pretty well. But the surgeon who specializes in one single, incredibly rare heart condition for newborns, she's a world-renowned authority who commands a fortune and has a year-long waiting list. See, selling marketing for everyone makes you the general doctor, competing with thousands of others. But selling, say, client acquisition systems for copyright law firms, now you're the specialist. Suddenly, competition just disappears and your value goes through the roof. This simple shift in positioning completely flips the power dynamic. You stop trying to convince everybody that you're worth it, and you start selecting only the best clients who are a perfect fit. Your marketing becomes a filter. You start using phrases like, "Hey, this is not for everyone," or "I only work with people who are dead serious about getting results." You're not begging for a sale anymore. You're offering an exclusive, rare opportunity. So, the final piece of the puzzle. How do we actually package up all this specialized expertise? How do we build an offer that doesn't just ask for a premium price, but absolutely screams value and makes it feel like an absolute steal? Look, a premium offer in 2026 is not just a course. It's a complete success ecosystem, and it's built on 4 pillars. First, you need a proprietary method, your own unique named framework for getting results. Second, you give them implementation assets, things like templates and scripts that make it faster and easier. Third, direct access. They need to be able to get real support from you or your team. And fourth, an elite community of other high-level people on the same journey. That combination is what justifies a premium price. And when you sell this, you never, ever, ever justify the price. Instead, you flip the script. You show them the massive cost of inaction. What will it cost your client if they stay stuck in their problem for another year, another 5 years? That number is always, always infinitely higher than the price of your solution. Your offer stops being an expense. It becomes an investment with a massive return. At the end of the day, it really just comes down to this. Selling cheap is a choice you make based on fear, the fear that maybe you're not good enough. But selling at a premium, that's a choice of courage, and it's also a choice of responsibility. It's a commitment you make to your clients that you are going to deliver a real, life-changing transformation. Please remember this. You do not have to accept whatever price the market seems to be offering. You have the power to create your own category, your own market of one. It is your strategic positioning that tells the market what you're worth, not the other way around. Which brings us right to the final question, a question for you. It's a choice between being just another commodity, fighting for scraps, and becoming an elite authority who gets to choose their clients. The choice is yours. So, are you ready to stop begging for attention and start commanding the respect and the profits that your expertise truly deserves?